The year is 2030. You wake up, check your phone, and see a headline that sends shockwaves through the world. Global unemployment hits record high. AI replaces 800 million workers. Factories stand silent. Offices are empty. Millions of people are competing for jobs that simply no longer exist. This isn't science fiction. It's a very real future, one that's already unfolding in front of our eyes. And if you think your job is safe, you might want to think again. Because by 2030, AI won't just change the job market, it will collapse it. For decades, we've been told that technology creates more jobs than it destroys, that every wave of innovation, from the steam engine to the internet, ultimately leads to progress and prosperity. But this time, something's different. Artificial intelligence isn't just another tool, it's a replacement for human intelligence itself, capable of learning, reasoning, creating, and outperforming humans across nearly every industry. From factories to finance, from marketing to medicine, AI is quietly dismantling the very foundation of how our economy works. And the terrifying truth is, most people still have no idea what's coming. Today, we'll expose how AI is accelerating the collapse of the global job market, who's most at risk, and why the next 5 years could be the most disruptive economic era in human history. 1. The beginning of the end. The automation wave has already started. The AI revolution didn't start in 2030. It started years ago. In manufacturing, robots powered by AI vision systems already handle 80% of assembly line work. In retail, self-checkout kiosks and autonomous delivery systems have replaced thousands of cashiers and drivers. And in offices, AI tools like CHA, TGPT, Claude, and Copilot are now doing the work of analysts, writers, designers, and even coders, faster and cheaper. In 2024 alone, global corporations eliminated over 300,000 white-collar jobs due to AI automation. Goldman Sachs predicted that up to 300 million full-time jobs could vanish by 2030. That's not a future possibility, that's a countdown. And what's replacing them? Software, code, machines that never sleep, never complain, and never ask for a raise. 2. The myth of AI will create more jobs. Politicians and tech CEOs love to say, AI won't destroy jobs, it'll create new ones. But here's the problem. Those new jobs require skills 90% of workers don't have. Sure, there will be more openings for AI engineers, prompt designers, and data scientists. But let's be honest, how many factory workers or retail employees can just re-skill into machine learning? AI is replacing broad, accessible jobs and creating niche, highly technical ones. It's like replacing millions of drivers with a handful of AI engineers who maintain the self-driving systems. So yes, AI creates jobs, but not for the people it displaces. 3. The silent takeover of white-collar work. For the first time in history, educated professionals are being replaced by machines. I can now write legal contracts and analyze case law faster than junior lawyers, generate ad campaigns more creative than entire marketing teams, draft financial reports, detect fraud, and even predict market movements better than analysts, perform radiology scans with fewer errors than human doctors. Even the world of programming isn't safe. Tools like GitHub Copilot and Devon AI can write, test, and debug code with minimal human oversight. The average office worker is unknowingly training the system that will make them obsolete. Every email typed, every presentation written, every piece of data entered, it's all fuel for the machine. AI isn't coming for your job someday, it's learning it right now. 4. The domino effect. When industries fall, others follow. Let's say AI wipes out administrative, transportation, and retail jobs, which is already happening. That doesn't just hurt those sectors, it ripples across the entire economy. Fewer jobs mean fewer consumers. Fewer consumers mean lower demand. Lower demand means companies downsize. Again. This domino effect creates a self-reinforcing cycle of collapse. where automation triggers economic slowdown, which triggers more automation to cut costs. Even major banks are warning that mass job displacement could lead to a systemic unemployment crisis, worse than the Great Depression. And the worst part? Governments aren't prepared. 5. Governments have no plan. When automation first hit, governments promised retraining programs and universal basic income. But look around, you see none of that is happening at scale. Politicians are stuck arguing over short-term policies while the job market is being rewritten in real time by algorithms. Meanwhile, corporations are saving billions in labor costs, and stock markets are celebrating record profits, while ordinary workers are left behind. We've reached a point where technology is evolving faster than society can adapt, and history tells us what happens when progress outpaces preparation. Chaos. 6. The rise of the AI elite. As millions lose their jobs, a new class of ultra-wealthy AI elites is emerging. The developers, founders, and investors behind the world's biggest AI systems. The people who build and own these technologies are concentrating more power than ever before. Just a few corporations now control AI systems that can influence economies, elections, and entire industries. This is creating a two-tier world: those who control the AI and those who are controlled by it. The gap between them is expanding at a rate humanity has never seen, and by 2030, it might be irreversible. 7. The collapse of human value. The real danger of AI isn't just unemployment, it's the loss of purpose. When people can't contribute meaningfully to society, depression, instability, and extremism rise. We've already seen hints of this in industries hit hardest by automation. Truckers, factory workers, call center agents, all replaced by machines. Imagine that on a global scale. Hundreds of millions of people suddenly told they're no longer needed. Economies don't just collapse because of money, they collapse when people do. 8. The illusion of AI makes life easier. At first it sounds great. AI doing all the hard work while humans relax. But here's the problem. If AI runs the factories, drives the trucks, writes the code, and manages the offices, who's earning an income? AI doesn't buy groceries, it doesn't pay rent. So when machines replace consumers, demand itself collapses. That's the paradox of automation. The more efficient the system becomes, the less it needs us. And once we're no longer essential to the system stops serving us altogether. 9. The global shockwave. The coming AI collapse won't just hit one country, it'll hit everyone. Developed nations will face massive job displacement among knowledge workers. Developing nations will lose their cheap labor advantage as AI replaces outsourcing entirely. Even industries like education, journalism, and entertainment are being consumed by generative AI. Entire economies that depend on creative exports, from film to writing to design, could disappear overnight. By 2030, the world could be facing a 50% unemployment rate in some sectors. And unlike past recessions, there won't be new industries ready to absorb those workers. 10. The coming rebellion against the machines. History has shown that when the gap between the rich and poor becomes too wide, societies rebel. We could see massive protests, strikes, and even violent uprisings. Not against governments, but against automation itself. AI-driven corporations may face cyber attacks, data sabotage, or even public bans. The tension is already visible. Artists, writers, coders, entire communities are rising up against AI systems that use their work without credit or payment. The battle for survival in the age of AI has already begun, and by 2030, it may no longer be about jobs, but about identity. AI promised to make the world smarter, faster, and more efficient, and it did. But at what cost? We've entered a world where intelligence is no longer a human monopoly. Where algorithms outperform people in creativity, logic, and labor, and where the very concept of employment is starting to crumble. By 2030, The collapse of the global job market won't just be an economic crisis, it'll be an existential one. The question isn't whether AI will replace humans. The question is, when it does, what will humans do next? Because the machines aren't waiting. They're already taking over. One job, one company, one industry at a time. And if we don't act now, by 2030, the global economy might belong entirely to them.